Most men think they understand women, but the truth is, they're playing the wrong game. Women aren't turned on by looks alone, or money, or endless compliments. What pulls them in are hidden psychological triggers, things she'll never admit out loud, but that guide every choice she makes in love and desire. Today, I'm going to expose 10 secrets about female psychology that most men never figure out. Once you understand these, you'll stop chasing women because they'll start chasing you. 1. Women respond more to how you make them feel than what you say. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing women are persuaded by words alone. Compliments, long conversations, flowery speeches. Men assume these are the keys to a woman's heart. But psychology shows us something deeper. Women respond more strongly to emotions than to logic. Think about it. She won't remember the exact sentence you said. She'll remember the feeling your presence gave her. Did you make her feel safe, desired, excited? Or did you make her feel drained, ignored, or undervalued? That's the real filter she uses. Psychologists call this emotional encoding. The female brain, especially the limbic system, is wired to prioritize experiences based on emotional intensity rather than factual detail. That's why a single emotionally charged moment, an intense stare, a vulnerable truth, a calm but direct statement of desire, can outweigh hours of small talk. Here's the trap. Men think the more they say, the more value they create. But women don't measure attraction in words. They measure it in moments that bypass the rational mind and strike the body directly. A teasing pause, a slow smile, a silence that makes her lean in. These carry more weight than 100 compliments. This is why Stoic men, calm, grounded, precise with their words, create magnetic pull. They don't overwhelm, they don't beg. They say less, but their presence feels more. And because women attach to feelings over logic, they can't help but replay the interaction in their minds. If you take nothing else from this secret, remember this. Women might forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. 2. A woman's desire grows in uncertainty, not certainty. Here's the paradox that most men refuse to accept. When you're too available, too predictable, too eager, her attraction begins to fade. Why? Because female desire thrives in a space of tension between what's given and what's withheld. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle casinos use. You never know when the jackpot will hit, so you keep pulling the lever. Women respond to this dynamic in attraction. If every compliment, every text, every ounce of attention comes too easily, she stops valuing it. But if attention is unpredictable, paired with restraint, it heightens her investment. Think about the man who's always chasing, always texting first, always flooding her with validation. At first, it flatters her, but quickly it becomes suffocating. The chase dies. Contrast that with the man who is warm, teasing, deeply present in person, but not glued to his phone 24/7. That slight unpredictability stirs her mind. Does he want me as much as I want him? Is he thinking about me? That uncertainty fuels attraction far more than constant reassurance ever could. Stoicism plays perfectly here. The Stoic man isn't cold or distant. He's present, but not overexposed. He gives her glimpses, not the full flood. He lets her wonder. And in that wondering, desire expands. Men think certainty builds love, and in long-term bonds, yes, stability matters. But in the dance of attraction, uncertainty is the oxygen that keeps the fire alive. If you always tell her exactly where she stands, she'll stop moving toward you. But if she's never fully sure, she'll chase. That's the psychology. Women crave mystery, not because they like games, but because desire lives in the unknown. 3. Women test men, not to break them, but to feel them. Every man complains about tests. She's always pushing my buttons. She's never satisfied. Why does she make things difficult? But here's the secret. Women don't test you because they hate you. They test you because they need to feel you. Psychologists refer to this as boundary probing. In simple terms, a woman pushes to see if your frame is strong enough to hold. If she teases you, contradicts you, or challenges your words, she's not always trying to fight. She's trying to sense whether you are truly as solid as you appear, or whether you'll crumble under pressure. The average man fails here. He gets defensive, angry, or insecure. He starts explaining himself, over-justifying or snapping back, and in that moment, she feels it. Weakness. His frame is fragile. His confidence is only skin deep. But the Stoic man, he welcomes the test. He doesn't fight it. He lets it wash over him. When she teases, he teases back. When she challenges, he stays calm. When she provokes, he doesn't break. And in that calmness, she feels it. This man is unshakable. Why does this matter? Because for a woman, trust is born not from words, but from energy. If your energy collapses when she tests, she knows you can't handle her at her rawest. But if you stay steady, calm, playful, amused, she feels safe to open more of herself. This is why the most attractive men don't resent tests. They expect them. They understand that a test isn't rejection, it's a doorway. It's her way of asking, are you really who you claim to be? Pass, and her attraction deepens. Fail, and she withdraws. So the next time she pushes, don't whine, don't complain, don't lash out. Smile, hold steady, because that's when she feels what no words could ever give her, the truth of your strength. 4. Women crave emotional adventure. More than stability, at first. Men often assume that women want a calm, stable, safe man from the beginning. Stability is attractive, yes, but not in the way most men think. At the start, women crave excitement, unpredictability, and emotional highs. They want to feel alive. Psychologists call this novelty arousal. The female brain responds strongly to newness, surprise, and heightened emotional experiences. That's why so many women gravitate toward men who spark adrenaline, whether it's with bold humor, teasing challenges, or simply breaking the mold of predictable conversation. Here's the paradox. Women want both stability and excitement, but not in equal measure at the start. Too much stability too soon feels dull, like she's already trapped in a routine. That's why the nice guy who texts constantly, plans perfectly, and always agrees rarely excites her. He's safe, yes, but he doesn't make her feel. The Stoic man strikes balance. He's solid and grounded, but he sprinkles in unpredictability. He doesn't tell her every plan in advance. He keeps her guessing. He takes her to a new place, teases her, shifts the rhythm of conversation, and challenges her assumptions. This unpredictability feeds her emotional adventure, while his calm energy anchors it. Eventually, women want stability in the long term, but attraction is born in the fire of adventure. Men who understand this use unpredictability wisely, not recklessly. They keep her heart racing just enough that she can't stop thinking about him. 5. Women are more attracted to men who can withhold. Here's a truth most men resist. Giving a woman everything she wants, exactly when she wants it, does not create attraction. In fact, it often kills it. Women are drawn to men who can withhold, who can say no, who don't immediately fold to every request, who control their impulses instead of being controlled by them. Psychologists call this delayed gratification signaling. When you can delay your own pleasure, or hers, it signals deep self-control. And self-control is one of the most powerful forms of dominance. It shows that you're not desperate, that you don't need validation, and that you won't crumble under pressure. Think of flirting. Most men rush, trying to close the gap, trying to escalate too quickly. The Stoic man slows it down. He enjoys the tension. He lets silence stretch, lets her wonder, lets desire build. By not giving her everything immediately, he amplifies the value of what he does give. This extends beyond intimacy. It's in saying, "No, I'm busy tonight, but let's do something Saturday." It's in calmly disagreeing with her instead of nodding at everything she says. It's in not rushing to fill silence when she looks at you expectantly. Each act of withholding isn't rejection. It's proof that you're not a slave to her approval. And here's the hidden truth. Women don't want endless validation. They want to earn it. The man who withholds strategically makes every yes, every compliment, every touch more intoxicating. 6. Women reveal more in silence than in words. Most men obsess over what women say. They analyze texts, decode emojis, replay conversations. But the real secrets aren't in her words. They're in her silences, her pauses, her body language. Psychologists refer to this as non-verbal leakage. When emotions are too strong to hide, they leak through micro-expressions, gestures, and shifts in tone. A woman may say, "I'm fine," but her tightened lips, distant eyes, and restless movements reveal the opposite. The Stoic man doesn't just listen, he observes. He notices the way her voice softens when she's truly interested. He catches the flicker of nervousness when she's hiding something. He senses the hesitation before she answers a question. All of this tells him more than her polished words ever could. Why is this so powerful? Because most men never see it. They're so focused on impressing with their own words that they miss the truth staring them in the face. Women, meanwhile, are wired to pick up on subtle signals, so when a man mirrors that ability, she feels profoundly understood. 7. Women fall harder for men who lead without controlling. Leadership and control are not the same thing. Many men blur the line, thinking that dominance means barking orders, dictating terms, or overpowering her decisions. But here's the truth. Women fall hardest for men who lead with calm certainty, without ever needing to control. Psychologists call this autonomous guidance. It's the ability to steer a situation with quiet authority, while still allowing the other person to feel free. A man who leads creates direction, certainty, and security. But a man who controls suffocates, restricts, and breeds resentment. Imagine this. 2 men take a woman on a date. One says, "So, what do you want to do? Where do you want to eat?" The other says, "Be ready at 8. I've got a place you'll love." Both are polite, but the second radiates confidence. He's leading, not asking for permission to exist in her world. And the deeper truth. Women crave this. Their psychology is wired to respond to men who make decisions with assurance. It signals protection, provision, and strength. But because he doesn't overstep, because he doesn't try to micromanage her, it never feels oppressive. It feels liberating. The Stoic man understands this balance. He leads with steadiness, not ego. He sets the tone, creates the structure, but he never cages her. And in that balance, she feels both safe and free, 2 states that supercharge attraction. 8. Women are drawn to men who can stay calm under pressure. Here's one of the rawest truths in female psychology. Women are wired to test a man's ability to handle pressure. Life throws storms, stress, arguments, chaos. And a woman subconsciously asks herself, can this man remain steady when everything else shakes? Psychologists call this stress response evaluation. It's not about how successful or wealthy you are, It's about how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. When a man panics, lashes out, or crumbles under pressure, it signals fragility. It tells her he won't be a reliable anchor when real challenges hit. But when a man stays calm, composed, even amused in the face of stress, it signals power. His emotions don't control him, he controls them. Picture this: she throws a curveball in an argument. Most men get defensive, raise their voices, or storm off. But the stoic man smiles slightly, keeps his tone level, and says, "I hear you. Let's slow this down." Suddenly, the storm loses its power. She feels safe again, not because he won, but because he didn't lose himself. This is why Stoicism is magnetic. Women don't want a man who never feels. They want a man who never loses control. A steady presence in chaos is sexier than six-pack abs, because it whispers the truth. I can handle life, and I can handle you. 9. Women reveal their desire indirectly and expect you to notice. One of the most frustrating things for men is that women rarely say, "I want you." Instead, they hint, suggest, create openings, and the men who miss these signals end up in the friend zone. The men who notice, they become unforgettable. Psychologists call this indirect signaling. It's a strategy rooted in evolution. Women historically risked more by being direct, so they developed subtler ways to show interest. A brush of the arm, a longer than usual glance, playful teasing, leaning closer during a story, laughing a little too hard at your jokes. These aren't random, they're invitations. The stoic man doesn't bulldoze his way forward, nor does he sit cluelessly waiting. He observes, he feels the energy shift. He notices when she lingers, when her tone softens, when her body language opens. And he responds, not by asking permission, but by leaning into the moment with calm confidence. Here's the truth. Women won't hand you desire on a silver platter. They'll light the path and expect you to follow. The men who miss it blame women for being confusing. The men who catch it understand the game. And when you learn to read these signals, when you act without hesitation, you stop being just another man in her orbit. You become the man she wanted all along but could never say out loud. 10. Women are more turned on by emotional intensity than physical perfection. Here's a secret that destroys the myths men cling to. Women are not wired to chase abs, jawlines, or the perfect height the way men obsess over physical features. Attraction in women runs deeper. What truly pulls them in is emotional intensity, the surge of energy they feel in your presence. Psychologists call this affective arousal. When her emotions spike, whether from laughter, suspense, teasing tension, or even playful frustration, her brain bonds the feeling to you. That bond is stronger than any physical trait. It's why the average-looking guy who makes her feel alive often wins over the perfect-looking man who makes her feel nothing. The stoic man knows this. He doesn't chase validation with his body or possessions. He creates moments. He knows when to tease, when to pause, when to say something raw that flips the mood instantly. He understands that desire isn't about being perfect. It's about making her feel something unforgettable. Women don't fantasize about flawless features. They fantasize about the man who makes them laugh until they're breathless, who makes silence feel electric, who makes eye contact so intense they forget the world exists. That's the real magnetism, and it has nothing to do with perfection. 11. Women respect men who stay rooted in their own mission. The final secret is the one most men forget once they get a woman's attention. Women don't want to be your mission. They want to join a man who already has one. Psychologists call this purpose alignment. A man with no mission gravitates toward his partner for identity, validation, and direction. And at first, it feels flattering. She's the center of his world. But quickly, it becomes suffocating. A woman loses respect when she realizes he has no anchor outside of her. Contrast this with the Stoic man. His life has direction before she enters it. His mission, career, craft, ambition, personal growth isn't put on pause for her. Instead, she becomes part of the orbit, drawn in by the gravity of his purpose. This doesn't make her feel secondary. It makes her feel chosen because he has everything else, yet he still wants her. This is why women are so drawn to leaders, creators, visionaries, not because of fame or status, but because a mission signals strength, stability, and depth. She knows he won't collapse if she leaves, and paradoxically, that makes her want to stay. The Stoic man never abandons his mission. He can love deeply, desire passionately, but he never loses himself in the process. And that's why women chase him, because deep down they crave a man they can join, not one they have to carry. If you're ready to step into that version of yourself, the man who women respect, chase, and never forget, then hit subscribe right now. And in the comments, drop the word gravity if you want me to reveal even deeper psychological triggers women hope you'll never figure out. Because once you know these secrets, you don't just attract women, you understand them, and that changes everything.